At all about the temptation for the players to look forward to the two tough road games that are following Kansas, or is this team mature enough in your mind that they're going to take what's next on the schedule as the biggest game?
I think they're mature, but those are things I worry about every night. And they have to stay focused on each team each week. And you'll see teams that somebody thought on paper one was better than the other team won. And it's all about avoiding distractions and staying focused on Sunday through Thursday.
Coach, it was only a matter of like a couple years ago where you were hosting Kansas on primetime and they were on their way to 11-1 in the Orange Bowl appearance. Are you surprised how much they've fallen off since then, even with the coaching change?
They had a good run at that time, and their quarterback was a really good player. And they were a very experienced team that year, so they kind of had it all coming together. And we talk about this a lot as a coaching staff, and I'm sure other coaches across the country feel this way, that's why the time that you put in to recruiting and continue to develop a program is so important, because when you go through a coaching change like they have, it's tough to maintain a high level. It takes a little time to build it back up, because you may have lost maybe 2 recruiting classes to a certain extent. So, Coach is in, his second year up there now? Is this the second? Third or second? Second. He's in his second year, so he's got his staff in there. And again, I'm speaking outside looking in and trying to get their system in place and their off season. And the best example is people talk about Oklahoma State football, and what I say is a strength of us is we're in the 7th year now, and everything's in place. So it just takes a little bit of time.
Coach, when it comes to motivating your team, does it help that Kansas gave Texas Tech a little bit of a run for their money last week?
See, what we've done is we've taken the Georgia Tech game out because of the triple option, and we're grading the other games, and our players need to see what's happened during that part of the season with their team. And so to answer your question, yes. I mean, that game could have gone either way. And so our players, I think, understand that and should prepare with that in the back of their mind.
Kansas jumped out to a 22-0 lead against Tech, and then had turnover troubles in the third quarter. Does that make it essential for you guys to jump out to a quick start as well?
Well, everybody wants to start fast, but I think what you're seeing now is leads really aren't safe anymore. I mean, a 2-touchdown or a 3-touchdown lead 10 years ago, people would change the channel. And not only us and A&M and Arkansas and A&M, but the Tech game, TCU, SMU, and I'm just thinking of all the games I watched this weekend. When you looked at the score and then you look back later, there was times Baylor was ahead of Kansas State by, 12, 15 points. I'm sure I'm off some, and just remembering scores as I was watching all those games, and then you turn back about 8 or 10 minutes later, what would be 30 minutes later on regular time, and it's a 3-point game. And so leads aren't as safe as they used to be based on people's ability to throw the forward pass.
Coach, talk about the development and growth of Justin Gilbert. You guys?
Justin's come a long ways just in the last 9 months. He's always had a great stature. He's 6'1" and whatever he is, 195, and runs really well. But the mental aspect's coming to him now. He's understanding offenses. He's been in position to make a number of plays the last 10 games we've played dating back through last season, but he didn't make those plays. He made a few the other day. And so I'm hoping that his confidence level will rise, because he certainly has the physical ability to be a good player.
Did you always envision him as a defensive player?
We took him as a defensive player, but we knew he'd be a dangerous weapon in special teams. And he could flip over and play on the other side of the ball if we needed him to. But he's become really valuable for us as a defensive player. So as of now, obviously, that's kind of the way I think about him.
What is it that you're looking for in a high school kid who's primarily an offensive player that makes you think he's going to be a good defensive player for us?
Well, if he runs physical and he doesn't avoid contact, in our opinion, if he's got the height and weight and the speed, and then his demeanor, his mental makeup based on what his coaches say, gives you the best shot at converting him to the other side of the ball.
Coach Joseph Randall was talking about how last year's KU game was a big deal for him, and the coaching staff kind of helped him get into the end, be the first one to get into the end zone, especially considering how bad KU's run defense is. Do you want to see Joseph get more because this is more of a special game for him?
Well, Joseph's carries and touches will be based on how Kansas decides to defend us. And each week, there's been a decision made by the defensive staff on the other team of how they think they best can defend our offense. And most of the time we have a pretty good feel for that. Sometimes we don't. So if Kansas wants to put a lot of people in there and stop the run, then he won't get as many touches. But if Kansas wants to play deep and back, then he'll get more touches.
How important has he become in your offense just in his second year playing with y'all?
Well, he's a big part of it because he's versatile. He can run the ball. We can throw it to him. We can split him out. He plays receiver. He's smart. He'll block. He gives us a lot. He's developing some mental toughness.
Now, was Coach Young that brought him in, did he ever try to say, hey, can we get him on the defensive side of the ball rather than having you guys running him in the backfield?
Never heard that brought up.
Coach, of all the players you've coached, where does Justin Gilbert's speed and athleticism rank, would you say?
Well, he's very fast. I think he was a 100-meter champion in Texas. And he's big and strong. I mean, he's a prototype corner in our opinion. When you can get him 6'1" and 195 and they're really fast, that's what you're looking for.
And he's kind of paired with Broderick Brown, who on the opposite side, he's more technical. How much has that relationship helped Justin?
Hopefully Broderick has given him something in the leadership category, and Broderick plays with a lot of heart. Guys that are bigger than him and maybe physically stronger than him, he battles and has had success of wearing them down as the game goes on. And so you take a guy like Justin who's got the body you're looking for, and if he can play with as much as Broderick does, then you have a really good football player.
Coach, talk a little bit about the negatives and positives of being ranked so highly in the AP and the coaches poll.
Well, the positives are it gives you a lot of credibility across the country, which is going to benefit you in recruiting. And the negative would be just you always concern yourself with keeping the players focused. I mean, it's the same questions that come up all the time. That 10, 15 years ago, you didn't have to worry about it except when they read the paper, maybe after the game or before the game. Well, now it's everywhere. You just go turn the TV on right now, and it's college football all day long on certain channels. So they see themselves and hear themselves being told how good they are all day long.
Mike, this is really off topic, but around the country and in different sports, you see coaches getting a commitment from a kid who is like barely a teenager or maybe not even a teenager. Would you ever consider that, or in your opinion, should there be a cutoff point, like you really shouldn't get a commitment from a kid until a certain age?
You can't make a cutoff point because all they'll do is say, hey, I want you to commit here. You just don't tell anybody. So that won't work. I'm not overly excited about sophomores committing, and I guess some people are taking freshmen. I'm not particularly fired up about evaluating a 14 or 15-year-old player to play at this level because they change so much. So what the answer is to not taking verbal commitments at a young age, I'm not sure what the solution is to that. But coaches at our level evaluating sophomores is not going to change now because they're juniors that are committing, and I guess there's a few sophomores out there. So it's going to stay because the market for good students who are good players is so valuable. I mean, everybody's going after the same ones.
If you saw, for instance, a 13-year-old and he looked like the greatest thing since sliced bread, would you break your own rule and just say, yeah, offer? Guy's 13, he looks great, offer.
Probably. If he fit that category, I'd probably say yeah. I'd say, what the heck? So I needed to say no, but honestly, if he's that good and we're sure, might as well offer him. But the hard thing is getting a transcript, Got to get a transcript from his elementary school teacher.
I don't even know why I'm throwing this out here, but I'm going to play Jimmy's game here.
you're getting to the point where you may end up recruiting kids that have either played with on teams or against some of your kids. And that's not too far into this area in the future for you.
My son's a ninth grader, so I've seen a couple of his games, and there's some guys out there that you could project to have that ability, but what it comes back to is what he's referring to. How do you really know? I mean, they're 15 years old, and so you're just kind of rolling the dice. If I was a parent and I had a son that had the opportunity to play at this level, I don't know that I would want it in the bag when he's a sophomore, because I would want him to have to continue to work hard, and it's only human nature. If you're told so many times that you're good and what do you got to work for because you already have your school paid for, it's only human nature to taper off unless you're just very rare. And that's the downfall of it, in my opinion. The coaches, the high school coaches that have a good team and they've got several young players and a sophomore that they're trying to get to fall in line and to be a team player, and in his mind, he says, I already got a scholarship to wherever it is. And do I really have to work that hard? That's the ones that I would be concerned with, is the coaches.
Are you concerned that the game's not on TV this weekend for exposure?
No, Coach Holder and I had some discussions on what time to start the game and what our thoughts were there, and we decided it was best for all parties involved to play at 2:30 for several different reasons, and so I hope that the maturity of the team will overtake whether they're actually playing on TV or not.
Mike, did you ever identify the guy you signed in and brought in here? Is it any of those guys you identified maybe as 8th or 9th grade guys, and then just made it a point to really track them from that point?
I can't remember anybody on our team that we would have tracked at that point. I wasn't even coaching when Whedon was in 8th grade, so it was hard to follow a guy like that. But I can't think of anybody, Bill, that we would have watched that early and said that we wanted to take them.
What about your satellite camps? How young? What's the cutoff?
Oh, we have little ones. Oh, satellite camps.
Yeah.
Those camps that they run down there that we work, we had some 10th graders in there. The majority of those camps are older players.
Randall said Coach Young's been following him since he was 9.
That's probably what Coach Young told him.
That's because he was older brother.
Well, now he knew his brother, and so that could be true. But a lot of times, things that you've told them, they get in here, it's, yeah, right, But I forgot about his brother. That's correct. Good.
With the game not being on TV, are you concerned that fans that can't make it here will use that time to watch you dancing on the internet instead?
Hopefully it's danced out by now. I mean, I can't imagine anybody really want to watch it that many times. So from what I understand, we've already sold 58,000 tickets. I don't know. Is Kevin here? Down to the table. What's that? 56. Okay. 58, 56 sounds good. Go with 58. All right. Thanks.